Morning, guys. It's 6:03 Sunday morning, 37 degrees. Pretty soon I'll be doing these little intros from inside the church building. um, so yeah, 6 o'clock. Just got here, just parked, grabbed my stuff out of the car. I'm gonna head in, do the normal, get stuff turned on. What I normally don't, I normally do, pardon me, I normally do think about what I'm gonna talk about in the mornings. And I didn't have anything planned for this morning until I started driving in. And I thought about some stuff that's been going on. And I think what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about love. Love as Christians. You know, we're supposed to not be transformed by the world, or not take in worldly things, but transform the world. Maybe put that scripture up somewhere if I remember to. But I think that's a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing. It says we're to love our enemies. Love our enemies. Man, that's tough. Sometimes we don't love our own kids. I think we all... I'm going to take that back. We always love our kids. We just don't like them sometimes. And unfortunately, the world's definition of love has to do with like. Like there's tears, like, I like you. Oh, now I love you. Well, that's not really how it works. Love is not really a feeling, it's a choice. It's a verb, it's an action. So I think that's what's difficult, is showing love. You know, how do we show love? As Christians, we have one definition of love, but the world has another definition of love. You know, in the Bible, there's, in the Greek and Hebrew, there's 4 words for love. Phila, which is brotherly love. I think I'm going to get these a little mixed up, and again, I'll try to correct myself. So Phila, which is brotherly love, brotherly love, Philadelphia. There's Stowage, which I believe is like the love between a brother and sister. And the brotherly love is like love between friends. And the stowage love is like between siblings. There's Eros. I may pronounce it wrong. I apologize. Like I've said, I'm not a pastor or anything. But that's between a husband and a wife. Kind of that sensual, erotic type love. Sexual type love. And then there's agape love, which is a love from God, which is truly, truly unconditional. You know, all the other 3 we've strive for unconditional, but we normally don't get there. So those are the 4 loves in the Bible that Christians strive for, but the world has one view of love. And unfortunately, that causes some issues. There's a big push about tolerance and acceptance. Anyways, I'm rambling, guys. I'll talk about the tolerance and acceptance later. It's almost 4 minutes into this little intro. And like I said, it's 37 degrees, it's cold, and I got stuff to do. So I'll see you inside, and we'll continue about love and tolerance and acceptance. Alright, guys. Alright, so started my turn on. Let's take a little pause here for a second to talk about acceptance, tolerance, and love. So I was thinking, I should really look up the definition, uh, the dictionary definition of acceptance and tolerance. But then I thought, this is from my perspective and from what I know and I understand. So I'm just going to go off the cuff with it. So let's define these three terms, or at least attempt to. So tolerance. Tolerance to me is a temporary state of being able to live with something. So, what I thought was, I really don't get along with this relative very well, but it's there's a holiday get-together, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, 4th of July, those big holiday get-togethers. I'm going to tolerate this relative for a while because he or she's going to be here. And then there's acceptance. I think acceptance is a more long-term, almost permanent tolerance, I guess you could say. Where I know I'm not going to be able to change this person. They may not be living the lifestyle I think they should live or what is right in God's eyes, or that I feel is right in God's eyes. But I'm just going to go ahead and accept that. Nothing I can do about it. I'm going to live with it. I'm going to accept it. And I think love is... like I said, love is a choice. And love is a verb. And love is hard to define. I think because a lot of us want to get it right. But I think ultimately love is... man, it's hard. Defining love is hard. Love is showing you care about somebody, that you care about them in every way, that you want them to be successful, that you want them to be happy, that you want them to, you want them to be successful and be happy and live a good life. And there's a lot more to that that's kind of hard to put into words. I really don't have a case that I could really say that I could really talk about. But I do know that you should, I'm going to say should, you should love everyone. And like I mentioned before, there's 4 different types of love. So, you're not going to love everybody the same. You're not going to love your sister the way you love your wife, because that's wrong. You're not going to love your neighbor the way you love your sister. And your wife or your husband, whatever. You're not gonna love everybody the same, and that's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. But you have to love everybody. Now, tolerance and acceptance. Do you have to tolerate everybody? Do you have to accept everybody? Well, I think that's a personal choice you have to make. I'm sure there's a lot of people around that tolerate me. I'm sure there's a lot of people around that accept me. I'm sure there's a lot of people around that don't accept me, but tolerate me. And I'm sure there's a lot of people around that accept me, but have a hard time tolerating me. They'll accept me for who I am, but man, when I'm around, this drives me crazy. But tolerance and acceptance is a personal level. And, it seems that people, if you don't love me, you don't accept me. If you don't love me, you don't tolerate me. And if you don't tolerate me, well, then you don't love me. Well, that's just not, that doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. I cannot accept what you're doing. I cannot tolerate what you're doing, but I can still love you. I can love you extremely. You know, I kind of relate it to with children. As a parent, my kids would do stuff that I don't like, or is dangerous, or could get them in trouble. You know, when a kid goes to reach for a hot stove, you're not going to accept that. You're not going to tolerate that activity. You're going to tell them, no, don't do that. That's showing love, because you want them to be safe. There's another thing you can define love with. You know, wanting people to be safe, to be healthy. Switch. My arm's getting tired, guys. Sorry. Trying to get so close. So you can love somebody without tolerating or accepting their behavior. Yeah. I'm gonna say that. Now it's you have to have some tolerance in life. You definitely do, or you're not gonna be happy. I mean, if you don't tolerate anything, you're not gonna be happy. Sorry, it's the way it is. I've learned that. A couple things I've learned recently. One, if you don't, people are going to love you the way they're going to love you, and you have to deal with that. If you expect somebody to love you a certain way, you're not going to be happy. They're going to disappoint you all the time. And two, if you want someone or something to change, like an interaction with a relative, or a friend, or a coworker, if you want that relationship to change, you need to change it. The other person's not going to change it. You need to change it. You need to take the first step to change it. Because like I said, the other person's not going to change it. They might change it, but I highly doubt it. Alrighty, so I've been going on another 8 minutes for this one. This is a complicated topic. Really complicated. You know, what is love? What is love? Love is a verb. Love. There's another song there. Love is a battlefield. A lot of songs about love. Anyways, so we'll go on to the next segment now. We'll talk to you guys later. Hey guys. Alrighty, so band is finishing up rehearsal. First service is going to start here in a few minutes. Like I said, first service starts at 9, second service 11, or pre-service at 10:40 on Facebook and YouTube. So I'm out here again. Man, it's a little chilly. I think it's colder now than it was when I got here this morning, but whatever. So love, acceptance, and tolerance. Man, those are deep concepts right there. So I talked about agape love, and that's the perfect unconditional love of God. And that's what we all strive for. It's what we all strive to get. It's what we all strive to show. We fall short of showing it, but God doesn't fall short of giving it to us. That's for sure. I think as Christians, it's a little bit easier for us to see that love than it is for non-Christians. And that's where we have to help them understand that love. Because as a non-Christian, seeing God's agape love can seem very strange. Because love isn't all you're great, you're wonderful, you're perfect, you're marvelous. Sometimes God's agape love is, you need to change, you need to get better, you need to grow. And that's hard as humans to deal with. I know I've dealt with it. There's been, and this is pretty recently, time in my life for a few months, year, 2 years, I would say probably about 2018 to around just a few months ago, and probably still now. During that time, I was kind of a jerk, maybe worse than that. I wasn't showing love to people. Was frustrated all the time. But something's happening. God has turned me around. God has shown me, hey Jason, you need to make some changes. You aren't the person you were before. You're a very hateful, negative person, and trying to turn that around, working on that. Talking to a counselor and reading books and reading God's Word and listening to worship songs and just trying to be more positive. Like I said, that's difficult. It's difficult, especially for a young believer. Not young believer, but somebody who hasn't grown in their faith that much. I'm still a baby in the faith. I think I've started going from the milk and honey to the meat. So, and something one of the things I'm struggling with is, how do we show that love to non-Christians, to non-believers, or people that are still struggling with it? There might be Christians but are still struggling with that concept. That's what I'm struggling with, is how to show that in a way that they can see it. It's cold. Alrighty, so I'm gonna get off of here and get back inside. I just wanted to come out and give my kind of closing thoughts. Maybe clothing thoughts, because what do you put on? Put on clothing, so you need to put on love. Love can be clothing. Love can be a clothing. What is it? There's something there, like love covers a multitude of sins or something. I wish I could remember that one. Sorry. Maybe I'll find it and post it up here somewhere if I remember. But anyways, I'm gonna get back inside because it's cold, and first service is gonna start soon, so I really gotta pay attention. But I hope you guys truly get something out of this. Like I said, I'm not a pastor, no official education, just a layman, struggling like a lot of other people, trying to make my way. But just figured I'd, vlog for others and for myself. A lot of this is for myself, and hopefully I can help others along the way. Alright, we'll see you guys afterwards. I would say let's hope for warmer weather, but I don't think that's going to happen for a while. It'd be November 14th, and we got a ways to go through winter. Alright guys, see you after the services. Alright, so I'm going to start shooting this outro before I leave, because it's snowing. You see some of the snow there, some over there. Alright, so I'm just going to shoot this outro before I head out. So I'm talking about love, acceptance, and tolerance. 3 different things, not all the same. You can have one without the other. You can have one without the other. I don't know. Not to think about that one, because that might not be true. You may have to have one without the others. I think
I think if you have love, you have to have some tolerance and acceptance. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So anyways, so, we need to love our neighbors. We need to love our enemies. As men, we need to love our wives as Christ loves the church. So we just need to remember to love. Tolerance and acceptance. There you can have one without the other. You can have tolerance without acceptance. And I think you have acceptance without tolerance. That's on a personal level, and that's something you have to deal with. I think it's bad to have acceptance without tolerance, because then you're living in a very negative state, and you're kind of in conflict with yourself. So yeah, hope you all have a good day. I just got a snowball on the side of the car, but I hope you all have a good day, and we'll all see you later.